Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, thanks so much for coming back. So today I am going to be creating two looks with the new Sigma Beauty and Beauty and the Beast palette. This palette looks absolutely gorgeous, hence why I picked it up. And I am so excited to be playing with this today. Like I said, I am going to be creating two looks. I'm also going to start with some information about the palette, some close-ups and swatches. I always put timestamps down below in the description box if you want to bounce around. And then at the end, I will come back and give you my initial thoughts. This is not a review. I have to continue using this palette more than twice to get my final thoughts. And usually about every 6-ish weeks, I do a palette ranking video where I rank and review the palettes that I've been testing. So this will show up in a palette ranking in the future, but for now, we're just gonna play with it. I am gonna link this palette as well as everything else that will be on my face in both looks down in the description box. And if you enjoy this while you're watching it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is the Disney Beauty and the Beast eyeshadow palette. It does retail for $59. Discover the wonder of this limited edition eyeshadow palette featuring 14 romantic hues in matte, shimmer, glitter, and metallic finishes. Each beautiful shade was inspired by your favorite characters, songs, and moments from Disney's masterpiece Beauty and the Beast. With a matching dual-ended brush included, it's certain as the sun rising in the east that all your looks will be flawless. Cute. Now there is a lot of other things in this collection. There is a cheek palette, there's a mini eyeshadow palette, there's also a lip set. I only picked up the big eyeshadow palette. I was considering the cheek palette, but the actual highlight in the palette looked a little bit too deep for my skin tone, so I didn't really want to risk it. So I just got the eyeshadow palette, which I'm very excited about. I did purchase this myself, and I did buy it from the Sigma website. I don't personally have a Sigma code, but a lot of other creators out there do. So if you want to use somebody's code, I'm sure you can find somebody's code. There's plenty of them floating around out there. So first, let's talk about the packaging. It looks honestly so beautiful. And when I saw the sneak peek, if you watch my new makeup releases, I talked about it and I said, ooh, I may have to pick this one up. It does look so gorgeous. I have only ever tried one Sigma eyeshadow palette before, and it was the New Mod Mini palette. And I did a ranking all the palettes I've tried so far this year, about halfway through the year, and that palette came up in the top 5. I was blown away by the quality, and I really love the color story as well. That didn't hurt. I'm really expecting good quality with this. The packaging, like I said, of the actual palette is the same as a unit carton, really beautiful. When you open it up, you get this plastic that is also really pretty. I kind of don't want to throw it away. I'm sure I probably will because it will get lost. And then here is what the palette looks like. It is a neutral palette, okay? And I love me a neutral palette. But I do think there are some pops of more muted color in here. You have a navy blue. You have like a almost purpley pink. You have a really warm brown that's almost leaning red. You've got some more like colorful-ish metallics. I really enjoy the color story. I also really love the embossings on the pan. They're so cute. You have a book. You have the clock. What's his name? Right. Mrs. Potts, you have a mirror. So you have like a lot of elements from the movie. I do like the movie Beauty and the Beast. I did enjoy it as a kid. It's not one of my favorite Disney movies, but I do really like the movie. I also love that you're getting a dual-ended Sigma brush. That is really exciting to me. So let's create our first eye look, then the second eye look, and then I'll see you at the end to give you my thoughts. So I think today I'm gonna create something more like pinky purple, and then tomorrow I'll create something more neutral. Does that sound good? It better sound good because that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm actually gonna use the shade Bookworm as my transition shade over here, an adorable embossing on the pan. I'm just gonna use a fluffy brush to go in very lightly. There's not any real like light matte shades in here, unfortunately, but that's okay. We'll make do. I have already primed my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. And you'll have to let me know as I'm going through this. Let me know if you picked up anything from the collection. Did you pick up the palette? Did you pick up the whole collection? Did you skip on it? Let me know your thoughts. I would love to know. All right, so going in with a really light hand with a fluffy brush, I was able to shear that out a little bit. So now we're gonna go in with the brush that comes with the palette, and I wanna go into the shade Pots, that like mauvey purpley pink, and I'm just gonna put this a little bit lower. All right, I think I'm gonna go in my very outer corner with the shade Beast, that navy blue, just to deepen it up a little bit. So all of those mattes worked really easily. I don't really have any complaints or anything to say. So I'm happy. I am going to put the NYX glitter primer all over my lid. Then I'm gonna go in with the shade Ma Chérie, kind of all over my lid, leaving maybe the inner portion of my lid free. That is a beautiful, beautiful shade. It almost looks like a duochrome. Like when I turn my head, it looks like there's a brown shift, like a brown base with the purple shift. Interesting. I now want to go into the shade Rose Petal over here, which is that pink. This one looks a little bit more sparkly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this more in the inner part of my lid and kind of layer it over that purple as well.
Much later.
Well, I thought I was recording and I wasn't. This happens to me a lot lately. So let me just tell you what I did really quick. I just repeated the same mattes on my lower lash line. I used the shade Beast on a flat definer brush. Then I blended it out with Pots, and then I blended it out with Bookworm. And for my inner corner, I actually put the shade Rose Petal, and then I layered Winter's Night on top. So just repeated the same shades, and I even brought Rose Petal a little bit down onto my lower lash line. So yeah, all right. So I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna finish up the look, and then I will come back to show you the final look, and yeah, show you the final look. All right, and this is the finished look. What do you think? I think it came out so pretty. I didn't think I'd be getting this colorful of a look out of this palette. Am I right? Like, this is a colorful look. So you can see that you can still get a colorful look out of this palette, even though looking at it, first impression, it's very neutral. And don't get me wrong, it is mostly neutral, but yeah, I do love a purple look, as you know if you've been here before. The mattes were incredibly easy to work with, blendable, right amount of pigment, and obviously you saw that with the shade Bookworm here that I was able to sheer it out to make it a little bit more of a transition shade for my skin tone. So that's a sign of a good matte, that it's not like overly pigmented, patchy right off the bat. I am able to sheer it out. And the shimmers are really pretty. That first one that I used, like I said, I don't know if it's a duochrome. It looks like a duochrome on my eyes. And I had this experience with the new Mod Mini where the shimmers are a little bit on the drier side, but not in a bad way. So I feel like if you're prone to creasing, you're gonna get on with the shimmers really well. Then Rose Petal has a little bit more dimension to it, but again, it's not like overly sparkly or overly textured or anything like that. The shade Winter's Night, I have not swatched this palette yet, by the way, but the shade Winter's Night definitely looks a little more piecey. Yeah, it's more of a topper shade. I don't even know, yeah, you could see it. It's a little bit more of a topper shade, which was really nice for me to layer it on top in my inner corner, but it is a white with a very strong gold reflect. So maybe with the pink, it wasn't like the best decision, but I actually like how it ended up looking. So yeah, okay, this is look number one. I'm gonna send you off to look number two now. All right, so we're gonna do a second look with the Beauty and the Beast palette. Like I said in the last look, I wanna play with more of the neutral tones. I'm definitely always down for that. So let's do it. I'm gonna go into the shade Cogsworth, which is like a warmer, slightly warmer brown than the transition shade I used in the last look. On a fluffy brush, again, I'm gonna try to go in with a light hand so that I can get it to be a little bit more of a lighter transition shade. That is a perfect transition shade for my skin tone, that warm brown. So I take back what I said yesterday about it not having a transition shade for me. It does. This is perfect. What a weird place to have a zit. Like right under my eye bag. Love that for me. All right, next I'm gonna go in with the shade Runaway right here, which is a slightly deeper warm brown. And I'm just gonna place this a little bit lower in the crease as well as in the outer corner. That is very pigmented. I'm actually gonna go in with the other end of this dual-ended brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Forbidden, which is like the deepest brown matte in the palette. And I'm just gonna place this on the very outer corner of my eye. Wow, that is extremely pigmented, wow. All right, while I was off camera, I just put the NYX glitter primer all over the lid, and now I'm gonna go into the shade Be Our Guest. This really pretty like rose gold shimmer. Looks like very smooth. And then just for the heck of it, I'm gonna take Winter's Night, that shade that I used in my inner corner last time, on my finger, and I just wanna tap it over the center, see if that does anything different. That added a little extra something. Very pretty. All right, I just went off camera and put on some more makeup on my face. As usual, it would be linked down below. But let's finish up the lower lash line together. I am going to go in with the shade Forbidden on a flat definer brush and just push this up against my lower lash line. Now, as you can see, I did add a wing, and I used the Fenty Beauty Fly Liner, which is like a very warm brown. So I think over that dark brown, I am gonna layer this like red Ego, just to see if that will warm it up a little bit. That didn't really do anything. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna go in with the warm brown Runaway on a pencil brush and just blend that out. Wow, that is so pigmented. And then I'm gonna go in with Cogsworth on a small fluffy brush and just blend that out. And then for the inner corner, I am gonna go back into Winter's Night, and I am gonna spray the brush. And then for my waterline, I'm gonna go in with the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Ninja Way, which is like a metallic bronze color. All right, and this is finished to look number 2. What do you think? I think it came out so beautiful. I love a neutral eye, and I love how easy the mattes were to work with. I love the shimmers on the lid. They look really like wet and not like super sparkly, but very wet and metallic looking without being actually like emollient and wet. So I love that. And I feel like it's always a perfect opportunity to wear a red lip or a bold lip when you have a neutral eye. So on my lips, I just have the Unearthly Cosmetics lip pencil in Bad Blood lined, and I filled in my lips with this because they're so creamy, you can actually easily do that. So yeah. Okay, so let me give you my initial thoughts on this palette. I mean, if you couldn't tell already, I love it. I really enjoy the fact that I can get a colorful look and a neutral look out of it. To me, that is something that is so important to me. 8 times out of 10, if it's just a normal everyday, I'm not filming, I probably would be reaching for more neutrals or like more neutrals with a twist. And this is exactly what I feel like this palette is. So I'm really excited to continue using this. Like I said, I can't give you my full thoughts, but I will say the mattes were really easy to work with, pretty darn pigmented, very pigmented, especially like these darker browns. Really, you can get them there very quickly, but as you could see, I was able to sheer them out if I wanted them more as a transition shade. And then the shimmers, I think, are really unique. Like the Sigma shimmers are wet looking, twinkly, impactful, but they're not super emollient, creamy, to the point where like if you are prone to creasing that you would have a problem. They are a little bit more on the drier side, but not in a bad way at all whatsoever. I don't feel like they're overly textured where they're gonna fall out or anything like that. So I really enjoy the shimmer formula with this. My 2 experiences with Sigma eyeshadows have been super positive. So I'm so excited to continue using this, and I'm definitely keeping my eyes open for whatever they have coming next. And now I wanna hear from you. Did you pick this up? Did you skip on it? Are you hoping to pick it up maybe Black Friday? I mean, Sigma is doing sales all the time, so I'm sure you can get this on sale at some point if you're waiting for a sale. But I would love to know your thoughts in the comments because I love hearing from you. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot when you do that. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing before you leave. I do upload videos weekly, and I'd love to see you back on my channel again. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.